In today's video, I'm gonna be going over my 9 decently hottish cinema takes because I feel like I got a good grasp on cinema as a whole. So yeah, in my eyes, these are all 100% true, no doubt about it. But if you want to criticize, you disagree with one or two, that's okay. You're disagreeing with three, four, five, six, seven, or even all of them. I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously when we're talking about cinema. How can you disagree with more than two of one of my takes? So with all that being said, let's get into this damn video. My first hot take is Christopher Nolan is not one of the greats. You know, he can still be a great director, but he's not going to be one of the greats. He's not going to be a legendary, iconic. Don't get me wrong, he's going to have his place in cinema history, but when you're talking about the GOAT directors, he's not in that category of S tier directors like Tarantino, Scorsese, Akira Kurosawa, Kubrick. He's not there yet. He's not. Actually, it's not much about the resume. It's the movies. It's the movies. To be honest, there's creative masterminds, there's geniuses, and then there's good great directors. He's not a creative mastermind. He's not a genius. He's not at that level of at that level of film as some of these top tier directors like I just named. He's Nolan's not one of those guys. He can still be have his place in cinema history, but he's not going to be one of the greats. Well, he's right now he's not one of the greats. I wouldn't put him in that category of S tier directors because there's a tier of goats and then there's a tier below. He's not in that top tier. But if he does good with the Odyssey in 2026, if he does real good, I think we can put him in that category. But if he does something special with the Odyssey, he for sure can. It just it has to be good. The Odyssey just has to be just a great ass movie for him to be put in that category of geniuses, of creative masterminds. Because he's not there yet, but the Odyssey will see. Because that movie has serious potential. My second take is that CGI it kind of does make a movie less likable. It does. When you overuse CGI, it gets bad. I like the Lord of the Rings better than the Hobbit because there's less CGI, more practical effects. Most horror movies, I love them better if they use practical effects over CGI. The CGI kind of makes it look sometimes a little weird, sometimes a little cheesy. But don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for CGI. Like if you're doing a big crowd, but I just think the less usage of CGI and the more usage of practical effects, the movie's going to be better. So I encourage directors to do that, and that's just my take in general. I don't think CGI is good for cinema and movies in general because movies were better back then when we were using practical effects more than CGI, which we're using now. So yeah, all in all, yeah, practical effects in your movies. It just makes it better. Interstellar was mid. Honestly, y'all are gonna come after me. Interstellar was mid. I can kind of see it now more than I did right when I first watched it. Right when I first watched it, I thought it was pretty bad. I thought it was pretty bad. Now, after letting it soak in a little bit, I'm seeing reviews. I'm letting society persuade me. I'm starting to think it's better now because y'all just been hyping it up that much. But deep down, I thought it was a mid movie. Maybe I'll give it a rewatch later on, see if it gets better. But as if now, bro, I watched Interstellar. It's one of the most overrated movies of all time, and people that glaze that movie are so damn annoying. Come on, they glazed Nolan, they glazed Interstellar. Interstellar wasn't that good. I get it. It's a cool futuristic movie. Blade Runner is better than that. There's other space travel movies that are better than that. Actually, there probably isn't. Ad Astra is kind of mid too. I'm not much of a space travel guy, but it's kind of deep. It was kind of, but it just yeah, all in all, Interstellar was mid. It really is one of the most overrated movies of all time. My fourth hot take is that Eyes Wide Shut is a goated ass movie. It is, honestly. And I'm not just saying that because there's titties everywhere. I'm saying that because I like the storyline. I like the thrill, the suspense of it. And shout out Tom Cruise, bro. The Tom Cruise acting in that movie was impeccable. Impeccable acting. And he's also part of the reason why the movie was so good. But again, the storyline of it, the suspense throughout it, it felt like a horror movie. I got scared, like I was worrying for the character, and you kind of felt attached to the character. You wanted to know what was going on, what is happening here. I just thought the movie itself was beautiful, beautiful, and honestly, one of Kubrick's best work. And even without the ending, because he died like a day after like filming or something, they didn't have the proper ending. Even without like a proper ending, and it's kind of the ending's kind of weird because they didn't have the right one. I still felt as if there's something that's really special about this movie. And if they had the proper ending for it, I think it would have been super iconic, 10 times more iconic than what it is today. Because I still think it's an iconic movie Kubrick's last work of art, and yeah, but with a proper ending, Eyes Wide Shut could be one of the most iconic movies of all time. But even without the ending, I fucked with it so hard, and hopefully a lot of you guys will. And if you haven't watched Eyes Wide Shut, it's a slow paced movie, but you really have to get into it. My fifth hot take is that Martin Scorsese has the best director's resume of all time. His career has been lasting like around 50 years, most probably 60 years. From Mean Streets, Taxi Driver, Color of Money, all the way up to Irishman, Casino, Goodfellas, The Last Temptation. There's so many movies he's made, and throughout 60 years, yeah, I think that's undeniable that you can say he has got the best resume of all time from any director. Like, okay, maybe it's Kubrick. He's got a ton of movies. He's got some misses too, but I still think Martin Scorsese, the amount of movies he's made, the amount of bangers he's made, it still beats them. Kubrick has misses. Martin Scorsese has misses too, just a few of them and more bangers than Kubrick does. Tarantino has a good resume. He's got two. They're not even misses. I'll just say good films. The rest are so he's got eight great films, and he's got two good films. Scorsese has probably like 15 great films, and then like probably like five bad films. Or well, I don't know the exact numbers, but you get what I'm saying here. I think Martin Scorsese does have the best director's resume of all time, and that is not a wild take from any director. Who else is there? Akira Kurosawa? No, no, resume is not better than Scorsese's. My sixth hot take is that Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street is better than Megan Fox Transformers. Don't get me wrong. Megan Fox Transformers, she's bad as shit in that. But Margot Robbie and Wolf of Wall Street, they just had her looking straight up different. They had her looking straight up different. And I think that's the baddest girl I've ever seen in a movie of all time. I'm not the biggest Margot Robbie guy out there, though. That's the thing. They just had her looking straight up different in Wolf of Wall Street. So, I had to hop on that train over the Megan Fox train. My seventh hot take is that Tarantino, if he didn't have the cap on the amount of movies he was going to make, he would be the GOAT. He would for sure be the GOAT. Because think of all the superhero franchises, all the James Bond movies, all the, random good movies on the side that he could have directed if he would just direct movies that he didn't write himself. Because that's all he does. He only directs movies that he's written himself. And there's some really talented stories and some really talented writers that he could work with to make banger movies. But he capped himself at that 10 mark. And if he got above that, he went above and beyond, maybe like Martin Scorsese, making movies for 60 years, not stopping, using other people's stories and making your own stories. If you got a hold of the Batman instead of Christopher Nolan, think about how many franchises and how many movies, if he was directing it, could have been straight up masterpieces. But he's only limited himself to 10 movies and only directing movies that he's written. Because, bro, my man is talented. My man is talented as fuck. My eighth hot take is that Asian horror is better than Western horror. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely some Western horror movies that I just absolutely fuck with out there. But as a whole, the Asian horror genre is hard to beat. And I think it's a culture thing because they have a lot of just weird old fairy tale ghosts. In The Wailing, the fucking devil pops out. I feel like as a whole, Asian horror is scarier, and there's a lot more bangers out there. There's a lot more hidden gems, but you just gotta search for it. Western horror, it's definitely hit or miss. A lot of it is hit or miss. Some Asian horror recommendations for you guys is The Ring and The Wailing, and there's one more. It has a creepy ass poster. I'll put it on the screen because I forgot it. But those are just some three Asian horror recommendations, personal recommendations from me. If I had to give you one though, I'd go watch The Wailing. The Wailing is legit. It's an impeccable movie. I've actually done a review on The Wailing on my channel, so go check that out. But if you haven't seen any Asian horror, go watch that one. Last but not least, it shouldn't even be a hot take at all, but I know a lot of you guys are gonna disagree. But I think Darth Vader is the greatest cinematic villain of all time. I do like what's his name? Thanos, he's a good cinematic villain. Patrick Bateman, he's a good cinematic villain. Frank Booth in Blue Violet, he's a good cinematic villain. But the iconicness of Darth Vader himself, it's hard to beat that. But my runner up though, my runner up for cinematic villains is the Joker. I feel like the Joker is such a good villain too. But Darth Vader really gets that spot of greatest cinematic villain of all time. And it's really sad that Disney really needs to do their best to try to bring it back, and not bring it back with no bullshit. Bring it back where it was, because I think Star Wars is such a cool franchise, and that whole Star Wars universe is great. Back to the main point. Darth Vader is the greatest cinematic villain of all time. And I love all of you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Appreciate it so much with all my heart. Literally, I'm speaking straight from the heart right now. Yeah, appreciate it if you subscribe. Love you. See you a lot. See